I think we are gone live.
Woohoo! Already, huh? Wow.
Yep, that was pretty quick.
Good I know, that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome to Escrow Tuesdays. My name is Charles Swanberg, Caimeiju Realty, and my co-host down there is with Tower Escrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Episode 26.
That was a momentary pause there. So how you doing, Narhee?
Doing good. It's a Tuesday, ready for another episode, a special episode of 26 with...
Yeah, Cindy Tran, look at that.
Yoo-hoo!
We promised this was going to be active, exciting, and loud, and not boring. Not that none of the shows are boring, but anyway, we've got the LA Coastal chapter president here, and how time flies, and Cindy is now the president. So welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Narhee, for having me. I feel so special that you guys asked me to be a part of your Escrow Tuesdays. How are you guys doing?
Very good, and we're so honored that you did not refuse, because so far no one has ever refused to be on our show and not even changed the time. So we got getting lucky here. We have actually scheduled all 52 shows that we promised to do on this series. And I would imagine about 20 of them don't even know they're going to be on the show, but we've got it penciled in. So look out for that phone call. And Narhee will explain the very rigorous vetting requirements that we go through to be on the show. But, you know, thankfully, Cindy didn't have any issues with it. So, hey, Cindy, give us a little, elevator speech about you.
Okay, so I am Cindy Tran. I am Vietnamese. I was actually born in Boston. I lived there for my parents were young and they ran away there and then had me. So then we
ran away.
Came back to Virginia. And that's where I grew up. So I went to school there. I went to Virginia Tech and I graduated with a business management degree there. And so that's a little bit about me. And then I moved to California. It's been 6 years now. So I've been here for a little bit over 6 years.
So why California?
So we have a lot of family. So we're half of our family is in Virginia, half of them are in California. So I always visited as a kid. Every summer, my parents would take me here. So, I experienced Disneyland as a kid. I experienced the weather and the beach. So I think I just always knew I wanted to live somewhere else and not be in Virginia my whole life.
Okay. So do you remember Boston at all, or
No, I don't. Only from videos. So, only baby videos. I think I was only there until I was less than 2 years old. So not many memories for me, except for luckily my dad was with his little Panasonic hand camera. It was everywhere. So we have all the videos.
Don't you wish you were there a little longer so you could get that beautiful Boston kind of accent? No?
I don't know. I don't know how that would work with me.
All right. Say clam chowder.
Clam chowder.
Okay. She didn't say chowder, so that's good.
Chowder.
Chowder.
Is that the accent?
I don't know. Dick Lee will probably shoot me.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to get some AREAA Boston people on here.
We have had Dick Lee. We've had Elena, and we're going to actually have Abby on soon. So we've got some Bostonians. We try to kind of jump around the United States a bit, and we've even gone into Canada for one person and hopefully the second too. So, wow. Well, that's pretty cool.
So you went to Virginia Tech and you studied business management. And then so you went into real estate with that right away, or how did?
No, so my passion originally was always actually working for a nonprofit. For 3 years, I think in college, I interned as for a nonprofit organization. And
I could have told you that. Your heart is made out of gold. When I saw you on that gala and you were doing your speech, and I was like, oh my gosh, she is such a sensitive, very sweet-hearted lady. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No
go on.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna cry on it, but I was really really hoping I wasn't going to, even though I had practiced my speech multiple times before. But
Cindy, everyone cries at the LA Coastal installations. I'm not too. I know Adam cried.
True.
Adam cried.
Did Tiffany?
And then, I don't know about Tiffany. She probably got a little misty-eyed, but that's pretty much the tradition. I don't know why.
Yeah, we're just little softies, I guess. But yeah, I thought, nonprofit was always my passion, but to live in California, you also need money. So then when I came out here, it was kind of like, okay, what can I do? I worked for a few different temp positions when I first moved out here. So I worked for a medical device sales company in their marketing department. I actually worked in South Coast Plaza's marketing and management department,
Oh,
which
no
was
way.
really cool. It felt like I was living the Devil Wears Prada life. Have you guys watched The Devil
Yeah,
Wears
I
Prada?
see. Yeah.
Where I was like an assistant and everything I did, I was on edge. Like I felt like if the coffee wasn't hot enough, I was gonna get fired if I didn't put the stamp on it, because it's luxury. And so it was a lot of pressure. But those were all temp assignments. So once the assignments ended, the reason why I got into real estate is because one of my friends is the owner of Home Smart Realty Group, the one that I work for now. So it's been 5 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
not
I mean,
bad.
that leads into our next question,
Yeah, what's our next question, Charles? Maybe you can ask it today.
Oh, man. How did you get into real estate?
So yeah, so I mean, I started off as like admin, and then I was doing a lot of back end stuff. Both of our owners for HomeSmart, their background is in lending though. So when it came to like the real estate side and the recruiting side, they were more focused on like getting loans. And so they kind of struggled with the recruiting and growing HomeSmart. So that's kind of where I came in. And when we first started, we had 22 agents, and now we're at 205, I think.
Holy moly.
So that's where your marketing skills and all of that came into play, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
What an asset to the company you are.
yeah, so I'm very lucky. I mean, I am also like a control freak, I guess you can say. So being able to be in a position where I got to be like, okay, I think we should do this. Let's try this. And they really just let me run with whatever I wanted. So yeah, we've been lucky, but it's definitely a learning experience. So I think I can apply that to, AREAA as well. So yeah, definitely beneficial in that way.
Yeah, we are always learning, never
But
stop
then you made
learning.
that step to, you were running the front office and maybe you still do, but then you decided, hey, I'm watching all these people getting rich. Not that I'm not rich already, but maybe I need to be richer. And you decided to go get a license, huh?
Yeah, so it's funny because I actually signed up for the classes in 2019, and it took me a whole year to get licensed because of COVID. So I was ready, and I was supposed to take the exam in March. I was studying in March, and then they canceled it. They allowed us to reschedule it for a smaller group. Like it went from a room of like 100 and something people to now 30 something people. So I rescheduled for April. It got canceled again. And then it got canceled again in August due to heat.
Heat?
Yeah.
Do you take the exam outside or
That's what I
do
was
they
thinking.
have no AC?
Yeah. So
That's
I
so
literally
weird.
got an email that said, due to excessive heat, we cannot, and they canceled it. I think it was like 24 hours before. It was Monday.
Oh,
I was getting ready to it was my last day. I was going to
yeah.
take it Tuesday, I think, and then they canceled it. So I had to reschedule it again. So fourth time is a charm. I was finally able to take it on my fourth scheduled date. So I finally passed, I think it was like August 31st, 2020.
Oh, well, you had an ample amount of time to study for sure.
What is a percentage? You need like 70 or 80%? I can't remember what it was.
I think, yeah. So it's 70% and it's a 150 question test.
Right.
And they don't tell you what you get right or wrong. You just get a pass fail because
Right.
you don't want.
But I would imagine, Cindy, you probably you were calculating, right? You were looking at it going, all right, I've answered my 70th percentage question, which is what, I don't know. And then you got lazy, you just guessed on the rest and left the room, right?
Yeah, at some point I was just like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know these other 30 questions, so I'm just gonna submit and see how it goes.
I remember I took my test and like I said, I knew the ones that I got right, and I had about another 20, 30 left. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here for another hour. I just went click, 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 click. And
how long do they give you? Like 2-3 hours?
I think 3 hours or 2.5. I was there and then I sat in my car because my coworker who I've worked with at HomeSmart for 5 years, because of how many times mine got canceled, we ended up taking it the same day. Hers was her original scheduled date. And so it almost worked out well because we've been working together for so long and we both have always talked about, selling real estate. And so the fact that both of us got to take that test the same day and like walk out at the same time and look at our results, it was pretty cool. So I feel like that was maybe why it was meant to be that I wasn't able to take it before.
I was just going to say that it was meant to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what's meant to be is Cindy Tran here on Facebook Live here on Escrow Tuesdays. In case you're just joining us, we got a number of people on our page. Esther Chow is listening in.
Hello, Esther.
Haley Vu is listening from Twin Cities in Minnesota. Tiffany is, of course, on. And Helena from Sacramento chapter is watching. Tadashi is actually even watching you.
Oh, hi, Tad. Hi, everyone.
Lily and Elena all the way from Boston. So, hey, you have universal appeal everywhere. It is amazing. And I'm sure you're going to be the most watched video once this gets loaded up on YouTube. But before it gets loaded up on YouTube, with all this stuff, and I know you had the nonprofit background, how did you suddenly find AREAA, or did AREAA find you? Because Cindy, there's only 42 people every year that get to be chapter president out of 17,000 plus members and everyone else. I mean, that's a pretty remarkable kind of turn of events from getting licensed and thinking about doing it, and now you're the chapter president. Give us that story.
I've never thought about that before. So you saying those numbers kind of gave me chills because
it is a privilege to serve, right?
That really makes it crazy. So, before I became a realtor, I was a recruiter. And so as a recruiter, it's always awkward when you go to events, right? Because as soon as you like walk up to a realtor and you introduce
there's that lady.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's going to try and bring me to HomeSmart, or she's going to try and recruit me. And so I kind of always felt, and I'm not really, I can be aggressive if I like know you and I need to negotiate or I need to get things done. But
look out. I don't want to be on the other end of that.
But I'm not the type where I can just be annoying. And so
no way. You were the one that was doing that. You were the one that was doing that video where you would take your handbag and like turn around and smack numbers on the other side.
That's because I know my fiance and I can hit him so that I can get my 15 minutes of fame on TikTok. But if I'm just attending a real estate event, I don't want people like running away from me. So getting involved with AREAA was basically a way for me to connect with people in the industry in a different way. So, being on the board, I was able to greet people at the door, and I was able to like introduce myself in a different way, like, oh, I'm helping Tiffany or I'm helping Adam. So that was the main reason why I got involved. And then it was just off the bat. I mean, I had attended like women's councils, NAREAA, other associations events, and they're great as well. But, you just feel at home with AREAA events. Like everyone is so nice. We always get the same feedback that people always just love our events and they feel the warm and fuzzy feeling. So that was basically it for me. And I was like, okay, this is something that I'm going to continue to be a part of for a while.
All right. Well, that's a great kind of somewhat vague resemblance of what happened, but we want names. So I'm sure somebody approached you and say, oh, that's Cindy Tran. She'd be good. She's good at recruiting realtors. Maybe she'd be good at recruiting AREAA members. So who approached you? Who was that key person?
Yeah. So a title rep that I know introduced me to Adam at a women's council event.
Okay.
And that's how I started. So
Adam Barreto.
Adam Barreto, he's the one. I literally said in my speech, I was like, I do not thank Adam.
Yeah, I remember that.
for trapping me. I think even when I got involved with the board, I signed my paper to join. And then in my first board meeting, they were like, by the way, this is for 2 years, right? And I was like, no. I didn't know it for 2 years. And so it's kind of a tradition. I think we did the same thing to like Wendy Holt, Derek Hirano, everyone else that's on our board now. We let them come to the first meeting and then told them it was for 2 years. So yeah, that's just kind of
right. So you're joined as a member, you're going to events, you became a board member. Thank you, Adam, in the title or the women's council thing. But I mean, to be president is a significant, step up. And so who sat you down and, little guy over here is always drinking a little too much of the AREAA Kool-Aid. So who got you, sat you down like, Cindy, you need to.
Well, I originally wasn't going to be president for 2021. We had someone else that was in line for it for our chapter. They were the president-elect, but they had to opt out for 2021. So I think I got the call like a few months before, and I think it was like Tiffany and Adam, and they were just like
ganging up on you, huh?
Nice. Yeah. And so basically my only reason to agreeing to do this is because I knew Tiffany Kawada was going to be my immediate past. I literally, like, I love Tiffany. She's such a great person, and I learned everything from her through AREAA for AREAA. So for me, I was like, I would want that guidance available to me. So I don't want to wait until, she may not be a part of it in a few years and then come back and be like, okay, I'm ready to lead. So I felt like this was just like the year for me to do it.
Yeah, well, that's so great because, Tiffany had been part of the board for a long time supporting her mom. Mm-hmm. And for her to stick through it and then finally say, okay, because she could have easily just burnt out and said, enough, but mm-hmm. stepped up and also became president before you. So that's just a great story of, how within your family that would happen. So.
Yeah, wow. Sure. Yeah. And there's another great story.
No trickery involved or anything, or?
No, it was pretty straightforward.
No. She just flat out said Adam. So another great story Cindy can share with us is maybe an escrow crazy story. That's why we have Escrow Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the highlight.
I'm new to the business, so I haven't closed many transactions. I've only closed like one myself. And to be honest, I was really lucky. This one, I think we only wrote 2 offers for this client, and the second one was accepted. And so, and we were in a multiple seller counter offer situation. Mm-hmm. And my client was like, let's go in, like, I think he wanted to go in 28 over. And I was like, I don't know if we need to do that. So there were little things that I was definitely proud of myself because I was like, okay, I don't think we need to offer this amount. We can go down and I think we can still get it. And, we did. And it was actually a very smooth escrow, except for there was like a land lease involved in the escrow, a $1 a year land lease. Only $1 a year.
Still, yeah, I mean, realtors go through, their whole career without dealing with a land lease. So for you to have
we were told it wouldn't be an issue because it's only $1. It shouldn't be an issue with the lender. And then when it came down to it, it was still an issue. So we did have, and then you feel kind of hopeless as the realtor because we did everything we were supposed to. Home inspection was good, paperwork, communication from both sides of the realtors. But then it was just like, okay, we're waiting for loan docs. And then another day would go by. And then another day would go by. And then another day would go by. And I would just feel so hopeless. And so that was definitely an interesting way to start it. But I mean, I definitely learned a lot through that first transaction. So I'm grateful.
You must have been pulling your hair out for someone that likes to have everything in control.
Yeah.
Were like, what?
My fiance he was like, I can't, because I've been trying to convince him to get his real estate license on the side too. Uh-huh. And when he sees me go through what I go through, he's like, why would you want me to go through this? Like, why? I could never do it. I could never. So
it's like the classic scenario, right? You get home, you're really tired, go, honey, guess what? I sold the house. And the spouse is like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? And it's like, never mind, but it's really tough to, talk to people that aren't in the business and, try to get that empathy and to get them to understand because it's difficult unless you've done it. And I would imagine even for you.
They really just think that we look at pretty houses all the time. Like they have no idea that there's so much more that goes into it. I didn't even know. I mean, I was in the business recruiting, and it's just a totally different side. Like I'm recruiting, I'm providing marketing, and I'm doing this and that, but I didn't know what it was like to write an offer. I didn't know what it was like to try and schedule 5 showings in one day. And now we have, you know, because of COVID, like these PED forms that we're including, and those make everything like a disaster. And so it's just a lot more to it, and your clients can't just go to open houses and like view on their own or anything. So it's a very interesting time to get into the business for sure.
Right. All righty.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. Looking good.
Find all these pictures.
You know what? That's a common, you know, say in our show. Where did you find these pictures?
Well, this is everywhere. I mean, you know, how can you find that? Now, this perhaps isn't everywhere, but then, you know, I don't know if you are the boss lady, but apparently you are, and you're even looking at yourself laughing. So.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
All right, no problem. Well, we have Cindy's top 5 list, and Cindy probably does not have a 1 that starts her birthday year, right? That's how you check on your driver's license if you could drink.
I do have 1. I'm not.
You do have a 1?
I do have a 1.
Okay, all right. But anyway, here's your top 5 list, and we start number 1, and that is social media. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So, I mean, I think everyone knows, like we're streaming this on Facebook right now. Social media is just so important. And luckily, I already was used to it by just using it on my own, you know, for fun. So I was very familiar with how to use Instagram and very familiar with how to use Facebook. But applying it to real estate, it is difficult because it becomes work instead of it being fun. So, I mean, I actually have, I think I manage like 6 different accounts. I have like my own personal one. I have like my work Instagram. I have AREAA LA Coastal that I help with. We have a Home Smart Instagram. We have a Home Smart Facebook. We have an AREAA LA Coastal Facebook. And so, yeah, there's just a bunch of different accounts. But it is a great way to stay connected. So working with millennials, they're just on their phone all day. So if you're not utilizing it to get business, then you're just missing out. They will not text you back, but they'll respond to your Instagram story. So that is something that I, you know, had to like force myself to be active on for both things. Yeah.
Right. Now, remember when you were still working on the recruiting, you had that TikTok video of who's next. And I still remember that kind of oddball person popping in and kind of like, what does this have to do with real estate?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Had a negative Nancy and I think,
yeah.
That's
fun,
funny.
you know?
I think her name actually was Nancy. So
okay. Anyway, well, it was more of a misunderstanding, right? Here she is having fun recruiting, dancing around, you know, and the lady's like, I don't get it. It's like, well,
yeah, I think we were like 2 months into quarantine. So this was like the most fun that I had on social media. And she just said, like, she straight up commented on my post and said, what is the point of this?
Yeah,
and it was just like, okay, well, clearly the point just like went right over.
Yeah.
And I doubt she could do this thing here. So.
Oh yeah, she's really good at speed texting.
Yeah, my friends always make fun of me because like my fingers are really fast.
Wait, let me see that again. Come on. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
It's too bad.
Wait, slow down. It's a blur. Wow, look, it's a blur, Narhee. When she does that, you can't even see her thumb.
So yeah, on top of like social media and responding to Instagram messages and comments, like texting is so important for millennials. A lot of my friends, they just prefer text. They're not big phone call people, even though I like to pick up the phone and call. I feel like it's just easier to discuss certain things over the phone. But it's also important because then you get everything in writing. when it comes to text. So
That's
texting
right.
back fast is important. Like I am lucky that I have a MacBook, so my texts are attached to my laptop, my texts are on my iPhone. So at any time I'm just like ready to go. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing, because I don't have too many Mac products as far as computers, and yeah, it would be nice. That's why I use Facebook Messenger, so I can kind of cut and paste it into it. But and of course, there's probably not a whole lot of formal education you can get on these subjects, but give me an idea, because you mentioned something about the education or lack of education with some of the millennial folk. Explain that.
Well, I was just mentioning like so communication, you just want to also be straight to the point. For me personally, I know a lot of old school people who they just like to ramble and they will lose me.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
And so I've actually taken a DISC test before, like a very intense, like in-depth test that tells you exactly about yourself, how to communicate with me, how I communicate with other people. And
wow.
like one of my top things was like, do not ramble, like get straight to the point. So I think that a lot of my clients are the same, like they don't need the runaround about stuff. It's like, is this a good idea or not? Is this beneficial or not? What do we need to do? What price do you think? It's just very to the point. So that's something that I think that's important with millennials, because we're just like, we're probably not all diagnosed with ADHD, but we have some form of it by just being a millennial in general.
Right, but we mentioned though about the education. Maybe it's because they have non-traditional education as far as growing up. Maybe they all didn't go to Berkeley or Stanford,
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think was a fault of education systems is like, we're not taught real estate. We're not taught how to save to buy a home. We're not, and then it comes from
one of the most important things you do in your life, and they don't even discuss it at school, right?
Yeah, like as soon as I got into real estate, my boss was like, do you know that owning real estate is one of the fastest ways to build wealth? And I was like, I did not know that. So, we're not taught that. And again, I have a 4-year degree where I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it. And they don't emphasize that to us. And so I still don't think it is a part of the curriculum, even though we do talk about it a lot. And a lot of my friends, they don't understand the difference between a mortgage. They don't understand, why you need a realtor versus a lender. They don't know that, there are programs out there where you don't need 20%. You can buy with 3 or 5.
Or none if you're a veteran.
Yeah. So, there's just so many things out there that it's not common knowledge. And I think that's definitely like a fault of our education system. So it's important for us to educate our friends and talk about it. And, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I hear you.
Now, for reals. Like literally.
Okay, so I had originally messaged Charles authenticity, but he changed it to for reals.
I was going to say, is that bag a fake? But it's shorter.
But yeah, I mean, I think that I have been able to, like, all of my clients that I've worked with so far are my friends. They know the real me. They know that I am outgoing and crazy, but they also know I'm hardworking and I will always have their best interest in mind. So I think that, social media has helped me because on my private pages, which none of you will ever see, I'm very
I found some stuff coming up.
I am very me. I mean, that's where I speak about my political beliefs and different things like that. And that has helped me connect with a lot of my friends who have the same. When it comes to work, I really choose to separate it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to get into a Facebook argument in the middle of a work day about politics. That's just not where I want to spend my time and energy. Yeah. But if it's somebody I care about and I feel like we can have an educated, civil conversation about what we care about and believe in, then I do think that that's worth my time, and I'll do that, separate from work. And that I feel like has helped me get business. Like people do see the real me and they want to work with me. So.
Well, we've got Justin Wong from Greater East Bay, Michelle Nishide, your South Bay, my Pedro pal
Hi,
here,
guys.
listening. Brian on, Dick Lee from Boston, Liza from San Francisco, and of course, Wendy Holtz with Snapchat is also watching, along with Eric Chavez. So, wow.
Hey guys, that's all my board of directors. So they're so supportive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. 24/7. And we realize that millennials demand flexibility. And I mean, that's always been kind of the job description of a residential realtor, right? I mean, you need to be around, but what's different about millennials as far as being flexible?
Well, I have like I work with a lot of nurses. So my friends, and they're all night shift, because being a millennial, most of them, you get night shift when you first start off as a nurse. You don't get day shift. So I think at one point I had 3 nurses that I was working with. So I would, need something. This was like my client last week. We realized we didn't get proof of funds yet from her. And I was like, okay, I'm texting the lender. I'm like, we got to wait 5 hours. She's sleeping right now. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, you just got to be ready when they're ready, and you got to be able to, like, I got an email from one of my clients. She was getting off work at 6 a.m. and she forwarded me something at 6 a.m. I mean, they're not expecting me to answer like in the middle of the night or anything, but you just have to know that like you're on this weird clock with them in when you'll get things, when you'll get a response. And I think it's also just important to communicate that to the other agents that you're working with too. Like, hey, I'm working with a nurse, just a heads up. We are going to submit, but she's sleeping right now. So I'll have to get back to you later.
Yeah.
She's on the front line, so accept our offer.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy. I think they can get sued for that. So.
Oops.
Yeah, you can.
All right. But, flexibility is important, but that's really been the job description really of residential real estate, right? Before social media and ways of contacting people in various ways, you had to meet with clients and buyers when they were not working, which was early morning, lunchtimes, or after work or weekends. It's morphed and changed now because you can get a hold of people, perhaps during work, through social media and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty much, on their time now. Some agents do say, hey, look, this is the way I work. And, I'm open from here until there. You can call me up until this time and that. But some agents do draw the line. It's really difficult for agents that, like you say, you work with people that do like a graveyard shift, or even, you work with international buyers. They're waking up when you're sleeping. So I guess you got to work around it and kind of maybe even mimic their schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Cindy, top 5. Any more to add on 24/7? Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I mean, I'm super lucky too that I have the position with HomeSmart where they know I'm going to get my work done. So like if I need to step out, like yesterday during my lunch, I stepped out and did a showing. And then if I need to make up for work, then I'm doing it.
You had lunch?
Apparently, do you want to see what my lunch was yesterday? It was a Shin ramen bowl and a smoothie that I had.
No, I don't know about you, but my lunch is already at the ocean.
Shin ramen are good. The
spicy coming in, spicy going out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, thank you for that. But look at Cindy in a bed of sunflowers right there. So cute. But we have a special surprise. We always have a special surprise for our guests, don't we, Narhee?
Yeah, we do. Are you ready?
Yeah, and I don't think, Narhee, you're ready. This, but we always have special surprises. It took a lot of research from our crack department. So here we go.
What department?
Crack department.
Here we go. Cindy Tran cosplay show. Oh yeah, we've got photos of every possible costume you made. Are you ready? Are you ready, Cindy?
No.
Cindy's like, where in the world did you?
All right, we're just kidding, of course. We're not going to do that, but we are going to do Cindy's top real estate memes and If you guys don't know what a meme is, ask any TikToker like Cindy. What is a meme?
So it's like a photo or video where you can caption it and make it relatable, basically.
There you go. Perfect answer. We didn't even rehearse this. So here we go. Top
Millennials.
real estate. All right, here we go. Who said the real estate profession was stressful? I'm 48 and I feel great. You know, that's a good one. Here's another one. Why don't you read that one?
A movie that describes how a realtor's life is during their first year.
There you
oh
go.
my gosh, but seriously though, I was
No, I know.
If I didn't have like my salary job as the recruiter and manager, I would be struggling.
You'd be like that guy.
Yeah. I don't know how people are doing it.
There's a good percentage
so here's
quit,
you studying for your real estate exam.
Yeah,
right?
the real estate exam helped me with 0 things. Like I'm pretty sure the real estate exam made me study the word easement like 50 times.
How many square footage?
I don't even remember because it's nothing that I apply to the business.
No, it's so true, right?
Oh man, they need to
this is one
that.
of my favorites. Here says Zillow said my house is worth 400K, and you're sitting there going 150.
Unless you're selling in this market, though. Unless you're selling in this market, they are getting good money right now.
Yeah,
I love that meme though. That cat is so
fun. How about this one? Sorry your house didn't sell. I really am, but maybe spending $25,000 to lower the ceilings and cover up the hardwood floors wasn't a good idea. Yeah, people do some crazy stuff, right? Before they sell. So,
I mean, you can see why some listings sit on there for a long time. One, the photographer or the real estate agent not getting professional photography and like staging the home or fixing whatever they need to. And then, I mean, there was one time I was looking at a property and they left the gurney in the photo. It's on my Facebook page. They left the gurney inside of the bedroom and took photos and then uploaded it. And like, in the description it said death on property. It was like, okay, you could have just left the death on property like in the description, in the private remarks. You probably didn't have to leave the gurney on there.
All right. Wow. Well,
boy.
Here's another meme that pretty much describes countless of hours that we work, and I'll let you read this one.
You stated you were not picking 62 showings in 5 months has determined that was a lie.
You are not the father, that's good old Maury. All right, well, we were a little easy on you. Sometimes we have these complicated quiz for folks, but since you're fairly new in the business, I thought one of these were pretty good. But the movie of the realtor's life during the first year, I kid you not, it could be tough. You could get lucky and it can still be tough. So thank you so much. Hey, when you are watching this show after we upload it on YouTube, hey, don't forget to click subscribe and hit like and all that kind of stuff. Because why, Narhee?
Because we're trying to hit 1 million subscribers.
And how many do we have to go to hit 1 million?
1 million.
All right, we're getting close. Getting close. You're saying there's a chance. Yeah, and we're also trying to monetize this. I mean, we're trying to retire on the show, obviously. So we got 6 months.
I was wondering the purpose of this show, so I get it now. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, on our 52nd episode, where we're going to actually have Brian on be the 52nd person on our show, we're going to have a group, kind of everyone who was on the show, join us for a kind of a 1 year recap. So it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, hey, upcoming, Cindy, on Escrow Tuesdays is Mindy and Julie.
Nice.
Mindy Long and Julie Tran are part of the OC chapter. And then we have, of course, Tracy Lee Dow's chapter. And this is important because literally in 20 minutes, she's going to get installed. So make sure you guys join the DFW chapter and their online event. So make sure you go on their Facebook page and sign up and wish her the very best. So we're going to have her on the week afterwards. And then we've got Miss Policy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's this run of all these powerful women, you know, we go, well, it's going to be, let's see who else is going to be. Do I have any guys coming up? I think we do. But, you know, this year it's just been full of amazing leaders, you know, from
the top down, starting from Amy. Yeah. So
no, it is pretty amazing.
Power for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is you know, it was kind of hard to find a picture that I was in with you. And so I finally found one. And of course, this was at your amazing event at the Porsche dealership.
Oh, I missed that event. We had 2 great years. Our casino night is always so much fun.
Yeah, no, it is always an amazing thing. So really appreciate being on the show. You know, one of my favorite moments that I like to tell some people once in a while, Cindy, was, and I was trying to find a ski trip photo of the ski trip 2 years ago, not the one.
Oh, no.
And I'll never forget, we're coming back. Well, the bus ride going up was memorable. I think somebody threw up on my foot on the way there. It was like 7 in the morning. But anyway, on the way back, we're like, I don't know, we're like 15, 20 minutes into the trip. And then, you know, and then all of a sudden here, oh my God, what is that smell? And
I have the pictures. Let me see.
Oh my God. And it was like somebody had just killed it in the bathroom. Now think about it. This bus coach has no openable windows. These windows are like sealed shut. And we've got like 2 hours to go. Half the people probably have to really go bad, but they're like, they ain't going anywhere near that thing. So what was our way to deal with this fine scent in the air?
We peeled orange peels and we all had them up to our
we passed it to each other so we could smell orange peels. And sometimes they kind of wore out, so you had to kind of like, you know.
Oh my God, crack it.
I'm trying to find it. I literally have a video of Charles sniffing orange peels.
Oh my God, that was the most.
That would be classic. Oh my goodness.
Of course, during the ski trip, you know, Cindy and I think Tiffany were too cool to join us. You know, boomers over at the ski slopes. They were snowboarding.
No, it's because I'm terrible at skiing and snowboarding. I thought I would have it down, and I ended up having like a random person. Jen Yang is who saved me because she's good at skiing. So we went on like the smaller slopes, and every time I would fall, she would come up to me with her ski and help me up because I didn't know how to get up. And then finally a random person saw that I was suffering. So she came up and taught me how to flip over. And I learned that way.
Well, thank you, random person. And hey, Karen Park from New Jersey is watching us. Steve LeDuc from Westminster is watching us. So, hey, we are out of time, unfortunately. Hey, best of luck to you, Cindy, leading the LA Coastal Chapter. As you know, I am a kind of, well, I live in the South Bay, so I should be part of your chapter, right? You know, every time I go to that when we used to go, I'm like, man, it's going to take only 5 minutes to get home. This is amazing, you know? So thank you so much for being on our show, Cindy.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Once I find this picture or video, I'll send it to you, Charles, and you can.
Okay, hey, post it on TikTok. Any future events coming up? I know you guys are pretty active. That's coming up.
Yes, we have our Lunar New Year event next week. So it is virtual webinar, of course. We are going to have her name is also Julie Tran, but she's a part of the South Bay Association. She's their government affairs director. So she's going to talk about, you know, a few new laws and changes, but then the fun part is we're going to try and find a dumpling maker so they can show us how to make homemade dumplings.
Oh, cool.
Right? And then we're also just going to discuss Chinese zodiacs. So we're going to talk about, you know, good luck colors and different things like that that pertain to your Chinese zodiac. I know some of us might be familiar with like what animal we are, for example, but maybe not the more in-depth details. So we're going to kind of go through that so we can learn more about each other and maybe why we all get along or don't get along and kind of go from there.
What do you think, Narhee? Cindy, a dragon or a tiger?
Ooh, I don't know. She may be in the middle. You know, there are, you know,
I'm a
individuals?
monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey. How does that build? You're surrounded by 2 dragons, by the way.
Yeah.
Am I? We actually have like, we figured out on our last meeting that we have like 5 monkeys on our board. So yeah.
Well, that explains everything then. Okay. All right.
It all makes sense now.
And now it's full circle. Hey, Cindy, thank you
my
very
God,
much
so
for joining us
much.
on Escrow
Thank you,
Tuesdays. And come check us out next time where we have Mindy and Cindy Tran. Oh, excuse me, Cindy Tran. Julie Tran from OC. Anyway,
All right.
see you guys later. Thanks for joining.